And that breaking news clashes again tonight in the streets of Minneapolis, the result of another shooting there by a federal officer. Days of unrest now turning violent once again. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Carolyn Johnson. Protesters were out with whistles and throwing snowballs at agents. They were met with flashbangs and tear gas from the officers. Tonight, the mayor of Minneapolis is urging peace and calm. NBC4's Macy Jenkins tracking the latest for us from the newsroom. Macy.
Hi, Carolyn. Well, this altercation happened tonight as all eyes remain focused on ICE activity in Minneapolis. Just 7 days after Renee Good was shot in the head and killed by a federal agent, a Venezuelan man has now been shot in the leg after DHS claims he first tried to evade arrest before hitting the officer with a snow shovel. The people of Minneapolis once again taking to the streets in protest.
You can have OnlyFans and make more money than this.
This was in the Hawthorne neighborhood tonight. You can see the protesters chanting and coming face to face with federal agents. The Department of Homeland Security says the shooting happened just before 7 o'clock Central Time after officers were attempting to conduct what they say was a targeted traffic stop of a Venezuelan man they say was in the country illegally. DHS claims the man drove away from the scene in his vehicle, crashed into a parked car, then got out and started running. The agent then caught up to the man and tried to arrest him, but that's when DHS says the man began to, quote, resist and violently assault the officer. While they were in a struggle on the ground, two men ran out of a nearby apartment and, according to DHS, attacked the officer with a snow shovel and a broom handle. DHS says the Venezuelan man then joined the other men and struck the officer with a shovel or a broomstick. In a statement, DHS says, fearing for his life and safety as he was being ambushed by three individuals, the officer fired defensive shots to defend his life. The initial subject was hit in the leg. All three subjects ran back into the apartment and barricaded themselves inside. City officials say the man who was shot was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. DHS says the other two men were arrested. Now, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey says tonight he's asking his citizens to remain calm, and he's applauding the thousands of people he says are protesting peacefully after the shooting.
There's still a lot that we don't know at this time, but what I can tell you for certain is that this is not sustainable. This is an impossible situation that our city is presently being put in. And at the same time, we are trying to find a way forward to keep people safe, to protect our neighbors, to maintain order. So let's be very clear. I've seen conduct from ICE that is disgusting and is intolerable. If it were your city, it would be unacceptable there too. And for anyone that is taking the bait tonight, stop. That is not helpful. Go home. We cannot counter Donald Trump's chaos with our own brand of chaos.
Last Wednesday, an ICE officer shot and killed 37-year-old Renee Good in her car. Federal officers claimed the officer shot her in self-defense, while others strongly reject DHS's narrative. The FBI is investigating, but Minnesota state and local officials say they have repeatedly been blocked from participating in the case. Mayor Frey says the 600 Minneapolis police officers are outnumbered by the more than 2,000 federal agents in the state. Governor Tim Walz urging Minnesotans to record the actions of ICE officers and called on President Donald Trump and Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem to, quote, end this occupation. Reporting live in the newsroom tonight, Macy Jenkins, NBC4 News. Carolyn?